loud, best believe we got the crowd standing. Got the luchadors.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the 6th episode of the American Lucha Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Vandellis, and with me we have the former #1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship, Mr. Jai Kole. Jai, how you doing?
I'm great, man. It's a pleasure to be on this show for the first time. Unfortunately, you said the former #1 contender for the ALW Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, at Shocktober, you came up a little bit short against the champion Chris TNT Taylor. Tell us a little bit about that match. What was going through your head, and what your general thoughts are about that.
Me and Chris, man, we got some history for a few years. I remember there was a time at Pure Pro Wrestling out there in Virginia. Me and him, I went face to face, and back then I came out on top. You know, Chris definitely has stepped his game up within the past 2 years. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time. But, you know, to be real with you, man, there will be a next time, and I'll be walking away with that ALW Heavyweight Championship.
I got to call the first match. I cannot wait for hopefully a sequel. I, for one, would love to see it. But, Jai, you are fairly new to American Lucha Wrestling, so let's familiarize the ALW Familia with you.
Yeah.
How did you start in pro wrestling? Where, when, why, what, how, pretty much anything and everything on how you got your start.
Right, yeah. I mean, I started professional wrestling in 2009. I trained at Gilbert's Pro Wrestling Academy in Severn, Maryland. If you're familiar with Gilbert, Dwayne Gill. From
Dwayne Gill.
WWF days.
Baltimore native.
Exactly. That's another connection that's going along with the story. Another Baltimore guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I trained with him. He was there. Dwayne Gill, the Holy Rollers were there. Robbie E was there for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
A bunch of guys came in. I was trained with Axel Rotten, the former ECW champion. He was there. Sanjay Dutt was there. There are quite a few people from that school that ended up in WWE. Jess, which is the first WWE women's ref, she trained with us. And Desmond Xavier, I think he's with Impact Wrestling now, one of the Rascals. He trained with us as well. And, there's definitely been some success that came out of that school, but unfortunately, it closed down, I believe, in 2013.
Gotcha, but you pretty much met a who's who of independent wrestling and the big leagues as well. Tell us what your favorite interaction with someone in pro wrestling or another wrestler, someone you've met. What was that encounter like? And you know.
Yeah, Ben, I've been blessed to meet some good people, bro. Just meeting Axel Rotten. I ran into him in the mall, Towson Town Center.
Yeah.
And I was training, and I said to him, I said, bro, you look familiar. He's like, man, who are you? Who do you think I am? I'm like, bro, you Axel Rotten, ECW legend. He's like, hell yeah, bro, I'm ECW legend. So I said, man, I'm a new wrestler coming up. So we in the mall. He's like, okay, you're a new wrestler coming up. Show me your lockup. So we are literally in the middle of Towson Town.
You're just locking up in the middle of Towson Town Mall. That's hilarious.
Exactly. We chaining and everything.
My God.
People looking at us. It's crazy.
Getting a free match. Yeah. It's extra funny for me because we said this right before we started on tape. For those of you who listen to anything ALW related, I'm from Maryland. Jai Kole is also from Maryland. He is the first Marylander I'm having here on the ALW podcast. So I just got to say it's a pleasure. And the visual of you and Axel Rotten just fighting and locking up in the middle of Towson Town Mall where I've been so many times growing up just makes me laugh.
Rest in peace, man. Great guy.
Man, for sure. And Nikolai Volkov wasn't too far away either. He was in Parkville.
And I used to ride with him too to different shows.
Yeah, dude. I was in a band. I'm in a band, and we played a show in high school, and one of the openers had a connection to Nikolai Volkov. So I get to the green room to get ready for the show, and I just see Nikolai Volkov in his cap, Russian flag, and the letterman, and I out of all the bandmates am marking out. And they're like, why are you so excited? I'm like, that dude's a legend.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So I can only imagine what it's like to, take in some knowledge from some of the greats and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got a picture of me and Nikolai Volkov on my refrigerator.
Hell yeah, man. Never take that one down, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and speaking of that real quick, He was a guy that was pretty cool. He always took time to talk to me and stuff like that. Nikolai Volkov. He was always a good guy, man.
Another one of the greats, man. That's for sure. But I want to move on to your pro debut. What was it like? I don't ask a lot of wrestlers this, but I wanted to. This question kind of popped in my head when we were talking earlier today. When you wrestled your first match, take us into the mind as someone who's out there for the first time in front of a crowd at a show. What was it like for you personally?
You never feel ready. You know what I'm saying? You never feel ready. You just want to do a good job because, you've been training for a while. You're like, oh, this is my opportunity. So there's just so much stacked up against you, so much, tension, and you just want to get out there and do your best. You know what I'm saying? So my first match was in West Virginia, and it was actually against the WCW legend, the Barbarian.
Oh, wow.
He kicked my ass. You know what I'm saying? For sure. That was my first match.
It happens, man.
Right, yeah, and it was a tag team match. And I can't remember who he tagged with that day, but just being in the ring with him. If you go on my Facebook, there's a picture of him putting me in a submission that I proudly flaunt, you know what I'm saying? Because that was like my first actual match,
Yeah, man, and it's a snapshot of that for sure, so I'm sure you're not ever going to forget that. So what kind of inspired you to be a pro wrestler? Like, what age did you get into wrestling? And what made you, take that jump?
This is the thing. I mean, I was watching wrestling when I was in elementary school, and I used to watch it with my stepfather at the time. And he always was watching it. Like, this was back in the day when Yokozuna was still there. The Undertaker was, coming out with Paul Bearer. This was like
early 90s. Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet. Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah. So he would watch it every Monday. I would watch it with him, and I didn't really know. Like, to me, it was like, damn, this is crazy shit going on right here. And I kept watching it, and I started watching it more than my stepfather. And when I got to like 4th, 5th grade, all the guys at school was talking about wrestling, Monday Night Raw. I guess this is when like the Attitude Era was coming in real heavy. Yeah. And we didn't have cable anymore because I guess we moved to a different area. So I could only catch Saturday Night Shotgun, which was free. It would come on 12 o'clock at night, and it would come on regular TV. So you didn't have to have cable to watch Shotgun because it came on normal TV. So when we got cable, this was when the Survivor Series, when The Rock, he joined the corporation.
Oh, 1998, right? Yeah.
So
I was alive for that, thankfully.
Right, yeah. When he joined the corporation and he came out as the champion the next night on Raw, when I seen him and his demeanor, his attitude, and his look, that was when I said, yo, I want to be a wrestler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The eyebrow and everything, the people's brow.
Yeah. It wasn't all the things I was watching in the years prior. It wasn't the wrestling. It wasn't the moves. It was the demeanor, the characters, and the personas of the people that was like, yo, I want to do this. So when I see him come out there with that cheetah shirt on, he had a cheetah shirt.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? And that whole night, because when he fought Stone Cold, then Undertaker came out with the shovel and everything. That whole Raw was like, I was like, yo, I want to be a wrestler.
That's one I got to go back and watch on the network.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, man. Night after Survivor Series.
Yeah, 98.
Yeah, man, but I mean, that sounds like if you told anybody, they'd be like, I want to be a pro wrestler. After you see that, man, The Rock in his prime, doing his thing.
Right, gold chain, all that.
Oh, yeah, the sunglasses and everything. Right. You remember when he wrestled in a tracksuit in 99?
I did.
I think he was hurt or something. So, along with The Rock, what other wrestlers did you kind of like idolize or admire growing up?
To be honest with you, I was always into like since I've been a bigger guy, and back then, like I just kind of felt a connection with Mark Henry. He was a big guy, man.
World's Strongest Man.
Right, yeah, World's Strongest Man. Back then, he
was sexual chocolate back then.
Sexual chocolate. He was with the ladies.
It shows how young I am. My bad.
Right, yeah. I mean, he him. Farouk. Ron Simmons.
The Nation.
Right. Tess was a good guy. I love Tess. Sean O'Hare was pretty good. Mike Awesome.
Tess and Sean O'Hare were power plant guys, weren't they? I think in WCW. Very underrated, I gotta say.
Yeah, those one of my guys where I was like,
yeah man.
I was always a Stone Cold fan and Undertaker. But as far as where it's like, I want to be like these guys right here.
Yeah,
those were the guys that I actually liked because they were tall, big guys that were in shape. They were nice body,
and they're quick,
they were athletic. Right? Yeah. Bam Bam Bigelow was another one.
Bam Bam could fucking move, dude. Oh my God, I watched some of his ECW stuff the other day. Just I still can't believe seeing that moonsault he does every time.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's so hard for me to not watch old wrestling, bro. Like I can watch that stuff all day.
Yeah, man, it's addicting, dude. It's like binging movies on Netflix. So have you adapted any of that into your style? Like, do you take that and kind of like what you grew up watching or maybe what you go back and watch? And how much of it goes into your playbook, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and to be honest with you, a lot of times people do call me, like, they'll call me names. I mean, I've heard fans call me, like, Mark Henry or Bam Bam and stuff like that. Just being able to move with me, man. Right now, I'm in a 300-pound range right now. So,
gotcha.
Being able to move and be agile is something that people kind of compare to bigger guys, But nowadays, the bigger guys are being more flexible and doing a lot more things. Somebody like Keith Lee.
Yeah, him and Braun of two people.
Right. Those are some great guys, man, that are out there doing that, taking it to another level.
I mean, Jai Cole versus Braun Strowman versus Keith Lee sounds like a triple threat that has just money
like
printing, dude. Printing money. Oh, come on, man. Vince, what are you doing?
No doubt. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but you made a good point. A lot of just wrestling, I feel like, has just gotten quicker overall.
Yeah.
The pacing of it, I don't know. I don't go in the ring, but like as a fan, I see it and I just see how quickly, like I'll look down at my phone and I'll miss like 3 different near falls.
Definitely. Everything in this society has sped up, brother. I mean, from the internet speed to
social media.
Patience, everything's times 10. It's just how the world is turning faster. And it's just, you got to keep people's attention now.
So that being said, how do you keep up, man? Like, what's your regime, I guess? Like, how do you stay in shape and how do you get ready for a match? Like, what goes in the mind of Jai Cole when he's preparing for a show?
You know what? Honestly, you gotta have the drive. That's the only thing that keeps me in shape because like growing up, I wasn't a big physical guy. I wasn't a big sport guy. I like wrestling and martial arts, but being a wrestler and wanting to do it and caring about it, it makes you want to stay in shape. It makes you want to continue to do, your cardio in the gym. Hit the gym at least three or 4 times a week. Right now, I'm training in Jersey, the Monster Factory, the world famous Monster Factory. Where Matt Riddle came from. Steve Cutler. A lot of different
WWE guys.
Yeah. So being on point with them and training every week, that's what you're supposed to do when you're a pro wrestler.
Did you get to train with those guys?
Briefly. Yeah,
oh,
briefly.
Cool. That's
briefly.
Awesome.
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah,
because I was just coming in around the time that they were coming out, and doing their thing. So yeah, man.
So 11 years into pro wrestling now. If you started in 2009, correct? About 11.
My debut wasn't until about 2012 because I got hurt within my training.
Gotcha.
So it kind of set me back for about a year. Yeah.
Either way, what is the biggest lesson you think you've learned so far in your career? We talked about, your work ethic. We talked about your influences. Now we're actually kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of what Jai Cole has done and what Jai Cole wants to do. And I think this is a good question to start off. So, yeah, I guess.
What lessons, honestly?
Yeah, what's the biggest lesson you have learned?
That you never know. You never know all what you think you know. Like, there's always something to learn. There's always something that you will develop, and whenever you're in the wrestling business and you think you know it all, it's probably time for you to leave. So I'd probably say just learning that there's always going to be something for you to work on. There's always something for you to develop. Like, pretty much you have to keep evolving. You have to keep learning new moves and, new conditioning, new looks, new techniques. And, if you look at somebody like The Undertaker has probably changed from so many times.
Oh, yeah.
From when I first seen him as a kid up until this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like Chris Jericho as well.
Right. If they didn't do that, I don't think that the same Undertaker from 1992 would be relevant in 2020.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So I guess that kind of goes into my next question. This is unrelated to wrestling. What are your kind of side hobbies, or what else do you like to do with your free time other than, wrestle in front of these fans?
I mean, yeah, man, I like to spend, time with family whenever I do have, the extra time to spend. I do work for the community with like kids and stuff like that. I've been called to different schools, for mentoring and speaking to kids, primarily kids that are like disabled and stuff like that. There's a lot of those in Baltimore, Maryland. So a lot of times I get calls for, showing up and stuff like that.
A lot of great facilities down there in Baltimore too that take care of these kids, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly,
I know it. Dude, for a guy who will rip your head off in the ring, you could not be a better person, Jai. I gotta say, man. Dude, I was expecting just a full monster. No, I'm kidding, but man,
exactly.
Dude, yeah. Thank you for doing that, man. I appreciate that because, like, I know a lot of wrestlers out there who could be doing stuff like that with their time because not everyone does, but yeah, man, it takes dedication.
See, because you gotta understand, like, not everybody wants a gimmick or a persona. Mm-hmm. People a lot of times they just want something that's real. They can watch TV or play a video game to get a character, but when you can connect with people and they know, like, oh, this person's real. You know what I'm saying? I can come down there dressed in wrestling gear or whatever it is, but they don't want to see it. They want somebody that's going to be real with them and be honest. That comes from where they come from and things like that.
Yeah, well, there's Jai Kole for you, like, in one sentence, I guess. So what other stuff do you like to do other than, giving back to the community, spending time with the family?
To be honest with you, bro, I do spend a lot of time acting. I've been doing film for actually about a good probably like 7 to 8 years. I got into film
nice.
Around the same time I started wrestling, to be honest with you. And I'm working on some films right now. I do love acting. Acting has always been a passion, which connects into wrestling as well. So I guess me just being in entertainment or being an entertainer is just kind of part of what I do. But man, yeah, I love acting. I love being on a set, being in front of a character, getting into a character or demeanor, and things like that. I like being in front of crowds. So I mean, similar, everything that I do is a lot of times has something to do with in entertaining or people, to some sense.
It all connects, as you said. Right. Yeah, that's really cool.
Rat. I'm not a gym rat. I love to eat, travel and eat good food, but I'm not a gym rat.
Yeah, you and me both, man. I got you. We got that in common. So yeah, like what are obviously get to the top. That's the top goal for Jai Kole, right? What's along the way? What other things would you like to see? Do you have any bucket list items on your professional wrestling career?
Yeah, I do, man. You actually do have to have a bucket list, and
well, give me a sneak peek if you can for the ALW fans.
Well, last year I did do some work with the WWE. Last year I did some work with them on a lower level. Yeah, I did. Early about March, April. It was kind of a download thing, but I just wanted to go see exactly how they run their business, the environment of the people is, and stuff like that. And it was very eye-opening compared to coming to a indie show and seeing them prepared for 100 people. And these people are preparing for 50,000 people, or whatever it is. But it makes you look at everything in more of a different perspective.
I bet.
You know what I'm saying? So I checked that out. I checked out Impact. I spent 2 days with Impact last year as well.
What was Impact like? I'm curious. I've been watching Impact since like they started in 2005, on Spike.
Yeah. Impact they're very solid. They're very different. I didn't get a chance to see them back in the day when they were really, really hot. But they have a solid fan base, and what they're delivering, I don't think no one else is delivering what they're delivering right now. I think they have a lot of potential to get bigger and actually to come up to that spot, But yeah, I spent some time with them, and that was 2 things out of my bucket list is to get looked at, to get seen, to get into an environment where people that that have pull that actually look for people can actually be like, okay, yeah, I know Jai Kole and I know him. I know him. So that was one of my goals, is get in front of people that actually can move things for you. I met some great people at WWE.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that sounds like a hell of an experience for you. And on the note of not seeing Impact in the heyday, that's kind of a good thing because you didn't experience the pain of Hogan and Bischoff in charge after watching like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe tear it up. So
it's nothing like that now, brother. It's a whole different,
whole different ball game. I really like Impact stuff. I'm not gonna lie. In 2020, they made some big major league moves as well.
For real, yeah, that's the truth, man. They have their own little thing that they do with indie promotions as well.
Yeah, they're working with ROH too, I think, with EC3.
Right, because it gives people opportunities at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So I guess that kind of eases very well into the next question I got, like the state of independent wrestling. How do you look at it? You see AEW, which is doing phenomenal. I wish nothing but the best for them because I love it. That was the first wrestling product that my brother watched since the Ruthless Aggression era. And he was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of old WWE. And I'm like, oh, well. So how do you kind of view independent wrestling, Jai?
I would probably say that it is a commodity, but in the sense that I think that to a certain extent it will suffer, especially after the COVID thing hit. A lot of businesses are sinking. So I think that is kind of in a state of emergency because a lot of people probably can't afford to run and due to COVID restrictions. It's probably
and if they can, it's really fucking hard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had about three bookings this year that were canceled because of that, and those companies are probably not coming around anytime soon. To be honest with you.
And I know on the North Carolina level, we've had some closes too. But one thing I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and Joe White, he asked me like what I thought about independent wrestling companies who, sometimes have turf wars in 2020. I personally view it as why aren't you trading talent in order to, bolster both companies? And that's actually how ALW got led to you, Jai. Exchange of talent. You work for Puro Pro Wrestling as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, yeah. And a lot of those guys are pretty much, that's like Pure Pro Wrestling Part 2, because everybody is there now. And that's good, though. That's good because, and let me tell you, in the DMV, in the Maryland area, these folks act like they are Vince McMahon battling Eric Bischoff.
MCW and all them?
I mean, I'm not saying them specifically, but that's how the persona of certain people are, where you can't work here, you work there, and all this other nonsense.
Wow.
I think that, me personally, I don't like indie wrestling anymore. I don't. I really don't. I mean, I still respect it to a certain extent, but I don't have to like it.
There's your headline. Jai Cole hates indie wrestling. No.
I don't like it as much as I used to because I just see that there's not that real brotherhood sense that it used to be when I first started, with people out there trying to protect each other, trying to teach each other. Now everybody wants to be the main event WrestleMania match, and everybody's a star. So it's just a different aura and energy as opposed to what it used to be. Not every place, but a lot of places are just becoming like that.
Yeah, I don't want to dwell on the negatives too much either. But you've had 2 matches in ALW. How familiar are you with some of the guys on the roster, and who would you want to face in ALW? You got the top guy down, and I want a rematch. You want a rematch. I think everyone wants a rematch. Who else would you want to face potentially?
To be honest with you, man, I wouldn't mind facing the boy TKO.
Ted.
TKO.
Oh, my man, Ted.
Yeah, TKO. I've been watching his work. He comes out there and dominates, things like that. And I feel like he's in good shape. And
that dude's a fucking star. I've told him it. I'm sure everyone has. I would love to see that too, man. TKO and Jai Cole, sign me up. Who else?
Man. Between him and I see there's the guy. I see my man Bobby Thomas is there too. Yella's there. Yella,
dude. I love Yella.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting in the ring with him. But I still feel that me and Chris Taylor got some unfinished business to handle. To be honest
some unfinished business,
definitely some unfinished business.
So do you watch any wrestling now, or are you mainly just like kind of focused on what you got going on and kind of tuning it out, or do you tune in every now and then?
I mean, yeah, I do tune in. To be honest with you, I do watch Raw every week. I watch NXT. I mainly watch AEW on YouTube, or I'll catch it on TNT.
Yeah.
But I'd probably say I do like the AEW product as well.
You watch SmackDown?
I do watch SmackDown. To be honest with you, I probably watch more WWE product than anything.
I agree. Same here, dude.
I don't know why. It's just I don't know what it is.
It's always been the way for me, man. I don't know about you.
It's like a routine. It's like a routine. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I've been watching wrestling since I was 8 years old. WWE is always gonna come first.
Right. It's
to
like
me.
watching Monday Night Football.
So I got a couple questions. I want to ask you what's going on in wrestling. I want to know your opinion from a wrestler. All right, number one, what do you think about Roman Reigns' heel turn so far?
I think that it's pretty good, man. I think that he needed that time off. He looks great. He's got a manager that's doing a hell of a job for him. I think that it's definitely helped building his character a lot. This is probably the first time in a long time where I was like, I wanted to watch him. You know,
yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, this guy is definitely changed. And sometimes, bro, that time off, it definitely helps you a lot, bro. I mean,
absence makes the heart grow fonder, man, especially if you come back as a heel.
Just so much. And the thing about it is, a lot of people say him come back as a heel, but he was a heel a long time ago.
Oh yeah, to the fans
before he got sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was a heel before that, but when he wasn't sick anymore, he came back as a face. But his first few heel runs, I don't think it hit as hard as it is now. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I think we talked about Survivor Series 98 earlier, and The Rock turning and joining the corporation. I think Roman's heel turn and aligning with Paul, that 1-2 punch, like SummerSlam or 3, I guess. SummerSlam, SmackDown, Payback, that was like his corporation moment to me, dude. That was when I was like, Roman Reigns fucking rules again, dude.
You'd have never known that was going to happen.
And putting him with Paul of all things. All right, number 2. I asked BK Westbrook this. He refused to answer, so I'm hoping to get an answer out of you. If you were in Retribution, what would your name be? It's got to be something absurd, obviously.
What would my name be in Retribution?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question that it's like, you put me on the spot with that one. That's a...
Oh, no. I totally expected you to be like that.
It's like, if I give an answer, it would probably just be a quick answer. But that's a really interesting question. So let me just say this. To be honest with you, I don't know right now.
I guess just Jai Cole, yeah. We got Slapjack, T-Bar, Cork Shot, and Jai Cole.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's a hard question.
I know I got one of those wrong.
You know what's crazy, though? They started following me on Twitter a couple days ago.
Did they actually?
They did, and then once I realized they were following 20 other thousand people, I was like, this isn't anything special.
Oh, Retribution followed 20 other thousand. Man. But they don't let anyone reply. Yeah, they don't let anyone reply. Damn, dude, that sucks. All right, one more. This one's AEW related. I guess, I'm trying to think of a good AEW question. What I think this doesn't get talked about a lot. I think Mox has been a phenomenal champion, but he's gotten a bad rap. Just kind of among, I guess, diehard fans. I don't know why, but I see people shitting on Moxley sometimes. I think he's been a phenomenal champ with nobody there, and he should have the belt till people come back. What do you think? I know we're getting a little marky, but I'm just curious.
I mean, why was anybody? I don't really keep up with a lot of that stuff because I don't know who writes that stuff. But I'm not sure what happened or what the issue was with people down him. I mean, I've always looked at him as talented. You know what I'm saying? I went to the first AEW show. And I thought it was pretty good.
You went to Double or Nothing?
I did. It was in D.C., Washington, D.C. I'm sorry. Yeah, that wasn't the first show. I'm sorry, the first live on TNT show.
You went to the Dynamite. That's even better.
Dynamite. Yeah, I was there in D.C. for the first show. And then they did the pay-per-view at the
they did Full Gear, yeah.
And that's when they took the ring together apart, slammed each other on the wood and everything. He's an awesome performer, man. So I mean, I have nothing bad to say about him.
No, Mox has probably been my favorite since he's been Ambrose in the Shield, and that's when I knew him because I'm only 22, man. I'm young,
right?
But the main complaint I heard was like, oh, he only faces big guys and he doesn't have any competition. I'm like, come on, man.
Well,
like, he had Lance Archer, Brody Lee, and Brian Cage, and all three of them are amazing. I don't see the problem there, you know?
But the whole thing is they want to put it on people who they feel television views might go up with. And, people are very familiar with him, but they were never familiar with him as a champion as much. So,
True.
It's all about getting who they think is going to add them views to the network. I think that's what the championship is more about. Who's going to tune in on Mondays or Fridays and Thursdays to see the champion, because that's really who we want. That's what we care about.
Yeah, man.
Who's the heavyweight champion at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important part. So,
I got two more questions for you before we wrap up, Jai. Number one, will we see you challenge Cody on Dynamite for the TNT title? And if not, can we start that campaign right now?
Absolutely.
Jai
I
Cole.
will definitely challenge him.
Jai Cole versus Cody, TNT World Title. Let's make it happen.
It might be even on a Wednesday, man. You never know.
Hashtag Jai versus Cody, I guess. We'll do that. And then number two, I guess. What's your favorite thing in wrestling right now? You know, when you're feeling down about wrestling, or it can be a person, it can be a story, it can be a company. What gets you feeling back up? Why is wrestling, that thing for you? Because I know it's one of those things for me, no matter what mood I'm in, or wrestling will always bring me up. What's your favorite thing about it, I guess?
Just looking at a lot of my collectibles. I have a lot of stuff from when I was a kid. A lot of magazines and tapes and DVDs. And just memories of like what I wanted when I was young. So it's just to see certain things that I've been able to accomplish. Like I won Sweet 16 champion trophy 2 years in a row, 2018, 19. I have two trophies.
Oh wow!
In my house. I've won belts. So when I look at my accomplishments and flyers I've been on, and just looking at my old little collectibles when I was a kid, and just saying that, damn, I wanted to be like this. That's enough right there to kind of keep me going. Do I have moments where I'm discouraged, or I don't like what's going on, of course, but just looking at where I came from, and just looking at how things change and people evolve, I think that pretty much keeps me down. And then also, bro, the network is beautiful.
Oh, dude, the network. 2 words, one sentence.
Best invention, the network.
Yeah, dude. I've been watching so much old shit, dude. It's awesome. Man. So, Jai, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's a pleasure having you. Like, where can the people find you? Now's your time. Tell them where to find you, where to follow you, all that stuff. What you got coming up and what you got going on.
Yeah, bro. Actually, this weekend I'm going to be in Pennsylvania for Eclipse Wrestling and AON Wrestling. It's a joint show, Pennsylvania. We're going to be filming all day. It's going to be live on a Fox network and on a local television.
Where in PA?
I believe this is Altoona, Pennsylvania. Look it up online, Eclipse Wrestling. I'm actually performing on both of their shows, the AON show and the Eclipse show. So check that out this Saturday. Follow me on Instagram, Ken Cole for sure. On Twitter as well. Check me out on YouTube, The King Beast Jai Cole, and just Google me. That's really all you gotta do, to be honest with you. Just Google me. Dude,
it's nice having a name that when you Google it, it comes up right away, right?
Right. And
man.
Good stuff comes up. So
So you're in the middle of PA this weekend, dude. If I'm free, I'll come up to the show. Eclipse Wrestling, you said?
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, they're actually having fans up there too, because COVID restrictions are lifted.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be like 25 or 50% capacity, man.
Nice, and CDC guidelines, all that good stuff, just like ALW, man.
Yeah, you should be good. Yep.
All right, Jai, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man.
Appreciate it, my brother.
Soon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Jai Cole, one of the newest signees to American Lucha Wrestling. Hell of a wrestler. Hell of a guy, clearly. Follow him, as you said. And you can follow American Lucha Wrestling on Facebook at American Lucha Wrestling. Follow us on Twitter at Lucha American. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you have to do is look up Jai Cole and/or American Lucha Wrestling. We are on independent wrestling television, people, IWTV.com. Sign up using the promo code American Lucha to get your first 5 days off for free. We've got a bunch of shows coming up there. Shocktober, All of American Lucha Wrestling's future events will be on IWTV for replay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was a blast doing this episode. As always, I'm Andrew Vindelis. You can follow me on Twitter at VindelisTweets. And until next time, goodbye and good night.